Hello, and welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of sports. And the first two games of the NBA Finals have wrapped up, and the series is tied 1-1. Boston and Golden State have given us a pair of really fun, really exciting to watch games. So we're going to quickly recap them and give our thoughts on the two games. So, Tim, are you ready to go?
Let's run it.
All right, let's start with game one, where Boston defeated Golden State 120-108. It was a close game for the first half, and the Celtics were down by as much as 15 late in the third quarter, but they went on a ferocious 20-2 run late in the fourth quarter, and they came back and won the game. Al Horford went off, as well as the rest of the Boston Celtics from three. Horford hit 6 3-point shots to go with 26 points from the field. And the Boston Celtics as a whole shot 51.2% from three, which is absolutely amazing that they were able to outshoot the Golden State Warriors, who, of course,
does not
obviously,
happen often.
is known for their shooting. In that game, Jaylen Brown also contributed 24 points of his own, 10 from 23 from the field. Marcus Smart and Derek White also contributing with 18 and 21 points of their own. On the other side, Steph Curry took a lot of shots, 25 field goals attempted, but he managed to rack up 34 points, which is a team high. Andrew Wiggins for the Warriors also scored 20 points on 8 of 15 from the field. I think a big part of that game one loss for the Warriors is that Gary Payton did not play. He was a coach's decision, a scratch in that game, and it definitely showed because the inability to stop Al Horford and Jaylen Brown really showed. Jason Tatum having a shockingly bad game from the field. In 42 minutes, he only scored 12 points, 3 from 17 from the field.
That's not pretty. That is not a Jason Tatum stat line that we're used to.
That is not a Jason Tatum stat line. And especially when we talked in the preview about can Jason Tatum take over games, that is not the greatest example of it. So, Tim, what can we see from game one and the Celtics and the Warriors?
I think what's really interesting is you mentioned this exactly what we talked about Jason Tatum and needing to step up and be that guy that can take over, except they won the game and he did the exact opposite. He himself tallied 13 assists, which was definitely a bit unusual for him. Obviously, it's not like he doesn't pass the ball well, but to tally 13 assists, it helps when the rest of your guys are kind of shooting lights out. But this was a big team win for Boston. When you look at all the guys that contributed 20 plus without Tatum, that's the kind of way that they're going to have to beat the Warriors if they're going to beat them game in and game out, or if they're going to beat them 4 times this series. You're going to have to get contributions from all of those different guys. It's not going to be one guy takeovers. That's not how you beat a team that shoots and scores the ball as well as the Golden State Warriors do. But especially, to highlight Al Horford's finals debut, to be fair, kind of all of their finals debuts, but for him it meant a lot.
Yeah, Al Horford,
as long as he's been in the league and been so close, just not
he's
quite.
The late 30s vet that it just means a little bit more to.
He showed up and he was feeling it in that game one with all of his threes, and really just every part of his game was really clicking. And that was a matchup that we were looking to highlight, is how are they going to deal with that Al Horford matchup. And obviously didn't necessarily happen within the post at all, like I thought was a potential possibility considering the size difference, but Steady just torched him from the outside. But yeah, overall, that fourth quarter was insane. That 20-2 run, that is, and I know some of the comments from the Warriors team is, we'll be all right. They won't shoot like that every game. And as we will then go talk into game two, turns out they won't.
Pretty good segue, Tim, because let's talk about game two, where Golden State came back and took that game by a score of 107-88. They responded in an absolutely huge way. A common theme in both of these games is it's been kind of close in the first half, third quarter, and then either team goes on this
broken open.
Yeah, this huge run, and oh boy, did the Warriors do that, going on a 43-14 run from the late first half to the fourth quarter, broke it wide open, especially in that third quarter where they had 35 points as a team. Boston only had 14 in that third quarter. So Golden State definitely took the game over at that point. And Jordan Poole just put the exclamation point on it when he launched that almost half quarter at the buzzer at the third. It was a very pretty shot. He also stepped up in a big way with his 17 points. Steph Curry again paces the team in points with 29. Took a lot of shots, but he also made a lot of shots. Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, and Kevon Looney with 11, 11, and 12 respectively. They also helped out in a big way. And on the other side, it was Jaylen Brown's turn to sort of struggle from the field, going 5 for 17 from shooting with 17 points. And Jason Tatum kind of turned his performance around with 28 points of his own, a lot better shooting, 8 of 19 from the field and 6 of 9 from 3. So game 2, the Warriors flipped the script on the Celtics and even it up going back to Boston.
And and you want to talk about like the tale of two different games. Specifically, I look at the Boston Celtics. Yes, the Warriors had plenty of things that were different for them in these first two games, but the Celtics is really what I want to single out here. And the difference was that second game is a little more of what we talked about, of what we wanted out of Jason Tatum. He shot the ball better. He got his shots. He went and he scored the ball well, and he didn't get very many assists. And the rest of the team, I mean, obviously they still had guys that scored well. Obviously, despite not shooting well, Jaylen Brown still had 17 points. So that ain't bad for himself. But
wasn't the most efficient 17 points, but he still managed
but to still get 17 on the board. Okay.
I think where you're going with this is that everybody else, looking at you, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, and
I was going to say, Williams, especially Al Horford disappeared. First of all, only taking 4 shots, making one of them. His best part of the stat line was that he got 8 rebounds, and it's like, good for you. But in a matchup of this magnitude against this type of team, Al Horford's he needs to be an every night guy. He can't be in and out like this, especially with the fact of only taking 4 shots. I get that you only made 1, and maybe the Warriors made some real specific adjustments that took away some of those easy shots he got. But maybe it's just the Celtics as a team that need to do a better job of really opening up those opportunities for him and other guys as well. But that was really what I felt was the tale of two games in this situation, was some of those guys that really just sort of fell off. And yeah, Marcus Smart was another guy that we highlighted that he needs to do a lot better if the Celtics are going to win. If the Celtics are going to win these games, it is 120% always going to be a team effort. This is not going to be like a Jason Tatum shoots the lights out and scores 40 and they win. Because if he scores 40 and nobody else gets over like 15, then you'll still be lucky to break 100.
Yeah, and they didn't in this game. They only got 88. So
and Tatum shot well. He played a great game, but nobody else around him supported him.
Well, as the series heads back to Boston for game 3, tied 1-1, we've seen a lot of different things. Yeah, we've seen a lot of different things from both of these teams. Boston comes out firing in game 1. Golden State makes the adjustments and knots it up in game 2. And we'll be looking forward to recapping this series as it unfolds. It's looking to be a good finals. If you thought you knew what was going to happen, you don't. Think again, as that'll do it for this game 1 and game 2 recap. If you want to watch our preview of the series and see what we think is going to happen, we gave our predictions and kind of broke down some keys for each team. We got that. And if you want to watch our other stuff on Running the Table, we got all kinds of sports content in the past and in the future. So like and subscribe for more content from us, and we out.